Philip V won control over much of Greece in 217 BCE after a 3-year war. Philip V sided with the Achaean League against the Spartans and the Ptolemaic League. Rome wanted the Achaean League to abandon Philip and join the Romans so they could give aid and supplies. The Achaean League, consisting of Athenians and Rhodians and other Greek cities, was in a civil war and also taking part in another war with the neighboring leader of Nubus, Lacedaemon. Because of this, they were too busy to aid Rome. Also, they were afraid to give resources and join another war. The civil war was between the Achaean League and the other league of Greek cities, the Ptolemaic League, and Sparta. The civil war was caused because the Ptolemaic League didn't want the Achaean League to control them. Once again, straining Philip's relationship with Rome, Philip tries to take the Roman holdings of Illyria. The king also made a treaty with Hannibal, who had been at war with Rome in 215 BC. During the First and Second Macedonian War, Philip V ruled Macedonia. However, Philip V's son, Perseus, ruled during the Third War. Though Rome did have emperors during the Macedonian War, they were numerous and not very involved. The military leaders of Rome, such as Scorpio and Flaminius, however, were very much involved in these wars. The First Macedonian War was caused because King Philip V was greedy. He wanted more land. Rome was a logical choice, especially because Rome was already distracted with Hannibal in the Second Punic War. Because of this, Macedonia's king made an alliance with Hannibal, which made Rome angry and nervous. They had control over Greece, who was Rome's allies. King Philip formed the phalanx on the Adriatic coast as well as a large fleet, signaling that they were preparing for war. Rome entered the war because they did not want Macedonia to make more alliances against them. Macedonia attacked Rome's allies, Rhodes, Pergamum, and other Greek city-states of the Ptolemaic League. King Philip took part in the war against Thracians on the territory of Pergamum. Not only did Rome not want Macedonia attacking its allies, but also they were still angry over losing the First Macedonian War. Rome did not like the terms of the Peace of Phoenix, which strongly favored the Macedonians. This caused the Second Macedonian War. Perseus married Laodice, the daughter of the king of Asia, which increased the size of his army. Furthermore, they made an alliance with various Greek city-states, Epirus, and other tribes of Illyria and Thrace. Not only was Rome not pleased by these alliances, but also Rome was worried that Perseus would destroy Roman political control in Greece. These events caused the Third War. The First Macedonian War took place in 215 to 205 BCE. Macedonia captured many cities north of Macedonia, near Illyria, while Rome was trying to fight Hannibal. Rome was feeling overwhelmed, so they became allies with the Ptolemaic League of West Central Greece, old enemies of Philip. They made a deal where the Ptolemaic League could keep any land they gained while keeping Philip occupied. This worked for a while until 208 BCE, when Philip invaded the Aetolians. Outmatched with no allies, they accepted Philip's terms for peace. In 205, when Rome's war with Carthage was finally coming to a close and was ready to fight Macedonia, both sides were tired of fighting. The Peace of Phoenix resulted, favoring Macedonia. The Second Macedonian War took place between 200 and 197 BCE. Titus Quintus Flaminius took over in 198 BCE as a Roman commander. Although the previous commanders of the Roman army had not been noteworthy, Flaminius was an excellent leader. He made an ambitious attack on Macedonia. Soon after this, Macedonia was ready for peace. He had to give up his control over Greece, which he did not want to do, even though Philip had lost much control throughout the war. In addition, he had to get rid of his navy. The leaders of the Third Macedonian War, taking place between 171 and 168 BCE, were Perseus, king of Macedonia, and Lucius Aemilius Paulus Macedonius. Rome had sent ambassadors to Bastarn, Macedonia, before the Third War. They saw that Macedonia was well fortified, had a lot of war materials, and men were drilling. These things concerned Rome. Also, Germanus, the king of part of Asia, was jealous of Perseus because he had made good marriages and was beloved by his people. Germanus denounced Perseus to the Romans, claiming that he was starting things in the east. Germanus aided the Romans in the Third Macedonian War. Although Macedonia had had a standing army since Alexander the Great 100 years before, many soldiers were peasants and could not read or write. Furthermore, because Macedonia and Rome had been in many wars, the Macedonian War did not upset or interfere in the lives of the civilians. In an attempt to maintain normalcy, Greece continued to hold the Pan-Hellenic Games. In the 196 BCE Games, all of the Grecian citizens and cities were declared free and under the protection of Rome. 20,000 Macedonians under King Philip in 198 BCE fought with 2 Roman legions under Flaminius. 4,000 legionaries invaded the rear of Philip's camp. Flaminius attacked the front. Rome was going to trap the Macedonians in a gorge. Philip escaped just in time. There were 2,000 casualties for the Macedonians. This was the first decisive victory for the Romans in the Second Macedonian War. During the final battle of the Second Macedonian War, the Battle of Cynoscephalae, in 197 BCE, both Macedonia and Rome had 25,000 men. The leaders of this battle are Flaminius and King Philip V. Both had excellent battle experience. Flaminius had a good career in the Second Punic War under Marcus Claudius Marcellus in 208 BCE. Philip had ruled and fought in the First and Second Macedonian War. The Roman commander pled to Greece for aid against Macedonia in 198 BCE. They agreed to help, which aided them in this battle. Each army lined up on either side of a chain of hills called Cynoscephalae. They slept there that night. In the morning it was foggy, so there was limited visibility. Philip sent his men to the top of the hill to get advantage. Macedonia followed Sun Tzu's advice here. Sun Tzu said in the maneuvering chapter, "It is the military axiom not to advance uphill against the enemy, nor to oppose him when he comes downhill." Both of these forces were trying to get the upper ground. The scrimmage that followed resulted in high casualties for the Romans. They sent for reinforcements. The scrimmage escalated more, and Philip sent more men up the hill, driving the Romans off the pass. Macedonia's right and center held the heights. Left was still marching up the hill. This break in formation proved the fatal flaw for Macedonia. Flaminius ordered his right to stay at the bottom of the hill. Flaminius brought his men to the pass. Philip ordered his phalanx to level spears and attack. Rome retreated after heavy losses. Rome's right with elephants advanced on Philip's left, who had not been prepared or information. Rome was very smart and used Sun Tzu's teaching. You can be sure of succeeding in your attacks if you only attack places which are undefended. The main battle was fought between Rome's left and Philip's right and center. One Roman tribune on Rome's right swung around with 20 maniples and attacked Macedonia's center. This caused chaos amongst the Macedonians. The casualties were astronomical. For Macedonia, there were 13,000 casualties. For Rome, 700. Because Rome won this battle, they won the war.
Quintus Flaminius, commander of the Roman army during the Second Macedonian War.
Philip V, king of Macedonia. The phalanx, obviously. This rectangular formation of heavy infantry is equipped with spears and pikes and forms a strong wall of steel. The men in the rear ranks hold their pikes at an angle so that there's a chance that they will deflect incoming missiles, such as the Pilias. Another advantage of this tactic is that the men do not have to be well trained to engage in battle. So if for some unlikely reason I lose a lot of my men, I can replace them quickly. The same cannot be said of your highly trained legions.
There are many ways to break through your strong wall of steel. We have fought in uneven terrain, like in the Battle of Cynoscephalae. Did you forget that? We won. Anyway, we had long curved shields, that make a break in your formation. Not to mention the fact that we let loose the Tilas that broke your formation. I mean, my tactic doesn't have your problem.
See here, the only reason we lost that battle is because your tribune changed his orders, in the middle of battle, might I add, and attacked my center instead of my left.
Okay. But that is the good thing about my tactic. It's so versatile. The Roman legion allows commanders to take initiative when they see an opportunity, which is what happened in the battle. I mean, if you think about it, we would have lost that battle if not for the versatility of my tactic. Anyway, the Roman legion was a heavily armored infantry armed with shields, armor, helmets, spears, and swords, and tilas.
Of course, Sun Tzu would definitely approve of the infantry that follow up our phalanx. This is part of how we win our battles.
Doesn't he also say that you shouldn't attack the head-on, but you should be more devious and use deceit, and that there are too many casualties when you attack head-on?
He also says that you need to have confidence to win, which we have.
Even though you lost to us repeatedly?
Minor setbacks.
Regardless, mine is better. Sun Tzu would be very pleased with my flexible legion. Sun Tzu recommends that you should not repeat tactics that have gained you one victory, but let your methods be regulated by infinite variety of circumstances.
Wasted a lot of good men for no reason. Why couldn't the Romans just accept the peace between us? It would be so much better that way.
It was nothing special. I fought in more battles than I can count, for as long as I can remember. Though I suppose I was glad the elephants did what they were supposed to. My tribune took the initiative.